Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good? Testing? 1, 2. All right. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be about 30 seconds out. 30 seconds out. Jim, would you close that back door for me? Thank you. Everybody ready? We're about 15 seconds out.
Oh, you want to call me up?
No, you're good. You're good. No, you come up. 5. Sheriff. So good afternoon. Today I'm joined by our partners at the State Attorney's Office, our great State Attorney Melissa Nelson, in Project Cold Case to announce the arrest of 69-year-old Jerry Phillips for the August 1996 sexual battery and murder of Valerie Ames, who at the time of her death was 31-year-old young mother. This murder and sexual battery case was investigated and ultimately solved by the dedicated detectives assigned being handled by our partners at the State Attorney's Office. I cannot share additional factual details on how Phillips was identified as the perpetrator of these heinous acts of violence. However, I can share that Phillips' arrest was a result of both dogged investigative work and advancements in technology. Phillips' arrest stands as a shining symbol of our agency's commitment to methodically working with our law enforcement partners to seek justice for victims, no matter how long achieving that justice takes. I spent over 10 years of my 32 years at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. And I personally know both how heart-wrenching these cases are and how difficult they can be to solve. Television shows have us conditioned to believe that homicide cases that are not solved within the first 48 hours will not be solved, and that's patently false. Homicide investigations are complex. Forensic analysis can take longer than normal and a long time to complete. And the technology surrounding these investigations continue to advance and evolve. Likewise, the investigative work needed in these cases must be completely, carefully, and comprehensively be achieved and worked. And these investigations can take months. They can take years. They require both unwavering heart and acute attention to detail. I can tell you from personal experiences that homicide detectives do not forget their investigations. We often drive around this city and we can tell you exactly where particular cases have happened and the facts surrounding the circumstances of those cases. That happens to me to this very day. These cases shatter loved ones left behind. and they also weigh heavily on those of us charged with bringing these murderers to justice. Many of us carry on our hearts the weight of unsolved homicides. Today, Phillips' arrest is a victory for not only friends and family members who love Valerie Ames, but the investigators who never stopped believing that justice could be and would be served. While Phillips' arrest cannot fill the enormous void left in the hearts of Valerie Ames' loved ones, I hope this arrest is a first step in your healing process. With accountability, we can define these heinous acts for what they are: murder and sexual battery. Additionally, this arrest shows this agency's unwavering commitment to stay the course and bring justice to victims. There's no statute of limitations for murder, and the dedicated men and women of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office cold case unit also know of no temporal limitations. They will always keep digging. They will always keep reinvestigating. They will consider new and innovative technologies and investigative practices so that loved ones of those taken from our community by violence can get the answers and accountability that they justly deserve. And I know there's no closure to these things. I know it's very difficult. I'm honored that today, almost 28 years since she was brutally sexually battered and murdered, this agency can be a voice for Valerie Ames and those that loved her. Today, with knowledge of who committed these atrocities, coupled with the prospect of accountability, horror is actively being reshaped into hope. I want to thank all the men and women and the detectives, forensic investigators, and prosecutors for all the hard work, for John Bachman of Project Cold Case, and all the many years that culminated in Phillips' arrest. Now our State Attorney, Melissa Nelson, will speak, and after that we'll take any questions. We may have something else in store after that, and then we'll take questions after that. Melissa?
Sheriff, thank you. I can only just reiterate everything the sheriff said. For those of us who have worked homicides, the city of Jacksonville is known to me geographically by scenes I've attended. And this is such an example of the hard work and dedication and commitment of not one person, but a group of people that now spans almost 3 decades. The cold case unit at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has done an extraordinary job in reinvestigating this case. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement in advising our investigative team. Ryan Bachman with Project Cold Case, your advocacy on behalf of families to let them know that while the public may not know every single day what we're doing, we are working these cases. To the detectives that go to these scenes and the prosecutors, they stay on their hearts for years until they're resolved. And so now at this point in time, after the arrest, the State Attorney's Office will commence the prosecution, and that will be led by China Makarowski, a homicide lawyer, and our homicide director, Alan Mizrahi. They will take the ball from here and in court. With us today are Valerie's 2 daughters. Thank you for joining us. While we couldn't tell you what was going on or what we were doing or what the detectives were discovering, fighting on behalf of you was absolutely important to Detective Sapp and Detective Brooks. So very good job, very good job. Thank you for your commitment. And I'll say this is the way the Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney's Office works on these cases is quite unique and unusual in not just the state of Florida, but in the United States. And so I think it's an important partnership, and it's excellent today to celebrate, while awful for you, answers to long-awaited questions. Would you like to, Michelle, come on up.
Ryan, come on with her also, if you like.
Michelle is one of Valerie's daughters.
Yeah, you go.
Today, April 2nd, 2024, that's 10,098 days. Our family is led to suffer of absence of Valerie Casterly, our mother. Holidays, birthdays, graduations, weddings, the birth of her 6 grandchildren have all passed without her. And those long years have done nothing to numb the pain of her non-existence. Her pain and her torture have all become our pain and torture daily. Standing here today at almost 28 years later, we now have some answers on our beautiful mother, Valerie, and she has finally reached her chance to have justice. Her voice can finally be heard, and we want nothing but that justice. So Valerie, a mother, a daughter, a grandmother, an aunt, and a friend can finally have that moment of thy trials have ended and thy rest is won. We want to thank the Jacksonville Cold Case Department and the Project Cold Case for finally giving us that name of the monster, Kenny Phillips. May our mom finally rest in peace.
I'm Ryan Backman, the founder and executive director of Project Cold Case, which provides advocacy and awareness for cold cases throughout the country, but is based here in Jacksonville. And I got involved in this because the hard work of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office a number of years ago in 2018, when Michelle reached out to the cold case unit, they immediately pulled the file to begin that process of reviewing the case, and then referred the family to Project Cold Case, and Project Cold Case to the family. So I've been working directly with Michelle, and my office has since 2018. And Valerie's mother was not able to be here today, but she is still alive and had a statement, and so the family has asked me to read that. Although this has opened wounds, brought back sadness, tears, and anger, we are so relieved for this to soon be over. Now we await and pray for justice for a daughter, mother, to Pamela and Michelle, and had she lived, 6 beautiful grandchildren. We want to thank the people who are with the cold case unit and the detectives who worked hard and didn't give up on Valerie. All we want is closure so that we can get back to good memories of Valerie. And that is June Lucas, Valerie's mother, who provided that statement. Thank you.
And Ryan, forgive me for pronouncing your name. I know you're not the news reporter. I apologize. Is there any questions that we can answer?
Can you tell us at all the relationship between Phillips and Valerie Ames? Did they know each other, or was this a random attack?
It wasn't random. And forgive me if I don't give you a whole bunch of details, because we want to save as much information as possible for trial and the evidence. It wasn't an absolute stranger situation, no.
Could you also tell us, in previous reporting that we've done on the story, you had said that the apartment she was found in was vacant, but you said her apartment. So was that her apartment, or was that vacant?
It was not. It was vacant. That was a mistake on my part.
Where was Jerry Phillips arrested?
Jerry Phillips, where was he? Where we find him?
Smithfield, North Carolina.
Out of state, North Carolina.
Can you give any more where particular specific information, or?
No. And listen, I think there's a belief that we try to hide things, but there's a real serious need to keep as much control on the information as we can. There's a process that's got to take place. There's a trial that's got to happen, and we don't want to mess that up. So in order to make sure that we don't, I'll keep a lot of that information very close to us, and of course our prosecutor's office, to make sure that we can keep that information as siloed as possible.
Can you tell us whether it was like a DNA science tip, or was it a concerned citizen that came forward?
Well, so there's been advancements in technology since then, so I'll let you guys try to think that through. But there was some really good information that came forward that we were able to get that narrowed it down to one person, and that's how we got here.
Can you say the specific charges? You said sexual battery and murder. Is it murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree?
He's not been indicted yet. He's been arrested for murder in the second degree and sexual battery. And to many of your factual questions, once we file discovery, obviously that will be available to the media and the facts as we disclose them to the defense.
All right, thank y'all very much.